All right, man, peace. So, brothers, this is going to be the latest entry into the series, Are You Ready to Be Married? And I believe that it's extremely essential, very important that brothers understand that when you decide to, quote unquote, sign a marriage contract with a woman, it is a corporate merger. It does not mean that your relationship is going to last. It does not even ensure that the bond between you and your woman is going to get any stronger. As a matter of fact, for the most part, the bond tends to get weaker after you sign that marriage contract with the woman, because now she believes that she can unleash the real person that she's always tried to hide from you. Is that always going to be the case? No. But for the most part in this society, the woman is constantly trying to seek out a mechanism to force the man to capitulate to her whims. Unfortunately, both boys and girls are placed under the same programming as children, that being the lost princess and the prince charming dynamic, where you're supposed to be raised to believe that you're going to sweep a woman up off of her feet, carry her to a castle, and you're going to live happily ever after with one another. And that is not reality. And so many brothers find out once they get into these conventions known as marriages that the woman is not raised to be a wife. She's raised to be competition. And that is why there is so much antipathy, so much rancor within the household once the infatuation wears off, once the euphoria of the wedding wears off. And you have to settle into repetition and monotony, which is what all success is truly about. Women do not like repetition. They do not like monotony unless it's something that is incentive based, meaning something that's going to cause them to make money. If they're not generating money from their monotony, they cannot sustain it for very long. They're going to start to bicker and complain about every little thing, unless you're very fortunate. You have a woman who is very mature, which is extremely rare, and you yourself have a man's mind, which very few men have in this society, because they're being raised either by women or they're being subjected to the emasculation programs in these schools that are making them feel embarrassed to express themselves in an authoritative way. So anyway, in this case right here, we're going to see this brother James Mason. He found out after he got married that he was not ready for marriage. Once again, I always place the onus on the man, because we have to think on a higher level. We have to think on a three-dimensional level. The woman, for the most part, is going to go according to her whims. Pretty much every narrative that entails inclusion of the woman is going to transpire the same way. Starts out happy, she gets bored, man gets resentful, chaos ensues. So anyway, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
Plaintiff James Mason married the defendant in 2016, but he recently told her that he wanted a divorce because they couldn't make each other happy.
Hey brothers, I have news for you. Once you decide that you're going to engage in a long-term relationship with the woman that you're with, life is no longer necessarily about happiness. It's more about how willing the both of you are to deal with the trials and tribulations of life together. And if you're not ready to do that, don't get married. Because I have news for you. Most of these females, and when I say most, I'm talking about well over 95 to 98%, do not really want to be married. They just want the wedding, because that is a status symbol for them. For them to be able to go around to their coworkers, their colleagues at work, to their female family members and say, look at this ring, look at what I'm doing. That's more of a status symbol for them than anything else. When the modern day woman looks at the vocation of wifehood, it's something that they consider more to be queenhood. I'm in my home, I'm a queen. My quote unquote husband is a quote unquote king. But as we know, the king is always supposed to have sway over the entire kingdom. But in this modern day convention, in this modern day architecture of family life, the queen believes that she has just as much say as the king, if not more. You cannot have two bulls in a pen, because they're always going to butt heads. You have to have one bull. Everybody else is a cow or a calf. If that's not what the conditions are, it's not going to work in the long run.
James says things with the defendant only got worse after he started dating another woman, and he's suing his estranged wife for stolen money and property. Defendant Tyronda Mason says James is very charming, but he's also a habitual liar and a cheater. Tyronda claims James was unfaithful numerous times.
Hey brothers, if you know for a fact that you love pussy, don't sign them contracts, man. Don't sign them contracts. And I say this repeatedly as well. If your woman, your quote unquote woman, if she's not willing to be with you for life without a contract, you should not be willing to be with her for life with a contract, because I promise you that contract and that ring are not going to make the relationship last any longer than it already was going to last. If supposedly you think that you love your woman and your woman loves you, but she's giving you an ultimatum that if you don't give her a wedding ring and a marriage ceremony, she's going to leave you, it's because the only reason why she's with you is so that you can elevate her within her own mind to the level of a quote-unquote wife, according to the contractual understanding of what a wife is. That's the only reason why she's with you, because love does not really need a contract.
And despite the best efforts, they could not make their marriage work. Tyronda is countersuing for rent and emotional distress.
Start with you.
Well, me and Tyronda got married in 2016. Things were good at first, like normal. But soon after that, they kind of started going downhill. We seen the pastor and tried to work things out. But
What was wrong?
Brothers, you heard that? The plaintiff stated that they started to experience marital issues, marital problems, and they went to go see a pastor. That's a major problem. And let me say why. What that indicates is that the woman does not respect your word. And also, you don't have the knowledge base or the wisdom base to solve the problems that are occurring within your relationship. Before you get married, man, before you even are engaging in a serious relationship, you should have your own place. You should have a steady income, preferably have your own career, because all those things are going to be a source of confusion and problems. You're also supposed to understand what you're going to do with your finances should you decide to get married to a woman, because the vast majority of the issues that you're going to have if you're not financially stable are going to be finances. No matter what a woman says about how much she loves you, no matter what, this and that, all that stuff fades and changes over time, because the woman is going to change her mind over a period of time. I don't give a shit who she is. But just getting back to the point, in today's relationship scenarios, whenever you have a problem with your woman, you're supposed to go to a quote unquote marriage counselor or a pastor. What that really should be conveying to you men out there, particularly you so-called black men, is that your woman does not respect you as the head of the house. She does not respect your input. She does not respect your intellect. So it would demand that a third party get involved in your relationship in order for her to abide by what is stipulated. So she views the pastor as being a greater source of wisdom than she views you. And then cats wonder why there are so many so-called quote-unquote married women sleeping with who? Sleeping with their pastors. Because wisdom and knowledge are an aphrodisiac. So brothers have to make sure that their wisdom is high enough to understand what's going on around them before they enter into these serious relationships with the woman. Very important, man.
Well, I was unfaithful at the beginning, in some parts of the beginning, and just we couldn't make each other happy, for different reasons.
How long had you all gone together before marrying?
maybe 5 years, maybe.
5 years.
That's a pretty good amount of time. So what that tells me is that their relationship was probably toxic before the marriage.
You could make it work for 5 years, but you couldn't make the marriage work. Go ahead.
Right.
Because the relationship was probably already toxic. And they said, maybe if we get married, things will get better. That never works. I'm going to say it again. It never works. Marriage is not going to make a bad relationship good. It's only going to make a bad relationship a contractual obligation. That's all it's going to do. If a broad cannot even maintain that fake happiness before the marriage, you think that she's going to do it after the marriage?
So fast forward to beginning of this year, and I ended up sitting her down and saying, hey, I can't make you happy, obviously. You can't make me happy. We're fighting all the time, little stuff, back and forth. I'm not happy. I'm leaving.
And that bickering spirit is heavy, man. Especially once that infatuation phase wears off. The same characteristics and traits that the woman claimed to love so much about a man will be the same things that she starts to bicker and nitpick about. Always watch for those little things, man.
You should start dating other people. I'm going to start dating other people, and we should move on. It seemed like it was okay at first until I guess I actually started dating someone. And then that's when things just went haywire.
Because she's still infatuated with you to a certain degree. She just believes that one of the components of a relationship is that people are supposed to always be arguing back and forth. Many women today believe that once they get comfortable with a man, that he's supposed to tolerate their constant nitpicking and their constant attempts at arguing and lowering your wavelength of being, trying to relieve you of any sense of placidity. Once again, the most important thing that you have is your mental health. The most important thing that you have is your mental health and your peace of mind. And if the people who are surrounding you in your life are not as concerned about maintaining your peace of mind as you are, they have to go.
Children together?
No.
Okay, let me hear from you. Give me some background, then we'll get to the details of your lawsuit.
Some of what he said is true. James is very charming. However, he's a habitual liar and cheater. And so we did
She said James is a habitual liar and cheater, and he shook his head yes. He said, well, that's true. I love me some pussy.
For about 5-6 years before we got married. We did break up and some of that. And we talked about it. He was confronted. He said that we did break up. In that 5 years, we broke up for maybe like 6-7 months because he was working out of state. And when
Why did that cause a breakup?
Because the breakup was because he was cheating, and because he was cheating.
Bullshit. The reason why you guys broke up for those 6 or 7 months is because you thought to yourself, he's going to be doing him while he's away, so I might as well make sure that I could do me. Let's be for real. Once again, brothers, that breakup, makeup shit, when a broad tells you that she wants to go on break, all that really means is that she wants to sample somebody else. So it's up to you if you want to maintain that breakup, makeup dynamic, but it's always going to end in disaster.
Because I lied to him.
That's the truth.
Wow, that was a breakthrough. They actually got a woman on television to admit that she lied. Damn, let me rewind this back real quick. God damn.
Why did that cause a breakup?
Because the breakup was because he was cheating, and because he was cheating, and because I lied to him.
That's the truth.
Wow. I gotta check the time on this. What time was this admission? A liberal woman admitted that something happened in her relationship because she lied. Damn.
What do you find problematic about him working out of state?
Because he had multiple women he was cheating with out of state.
That's what you used to.
Let me say this real quick. If a dude is sleeping with multiple women, there's something going on in the home where he's not getting enough sex or he's not receiving enough positive vibes from his woman. Because there ain't but so much semen that a man has swimming around in his nutsack for him to be plugging all these women all across Alaska and America and all this other shit. There's something going on with this broad.
He was cheating all 6 of those months.
Yes.
Okay.
We got engaged the beginning of 2015, January 4th, 2015, we got engaged. We went to premarital counseling. I went to personal counseling because he said that...
Brothers, if you have to go to premarital counseling even before the marriage, and your so-called woman has to go to counseling, the shit ain't gonna work. Ain't but so much counseling. The main form of counsel is supposed to be the husband over his wife. And the reason why these so-called marriages don't work is because the woman does not want to listen to what her husband has to say. She wants to listen to what a third party has to say. If it's a marriage counselor, it's normally a woman. If it's a pastor, it's normally a man. And then the woman will start to become infatuated with the pastor because he has answers that she needs in her life that her husband cannot provide. So that's the bottom line to that. If you have to do all that damn counseling, it's not going to work.
Wouldn't let the past go. I wouldn't let the past cheating go. So I went to personal...
No matter what happened, you never did.
Well, you can't get mad at the broad for not letting go of quote-unquote cheating. Once again, you have to know who you are as a person. If you love pussy that much, don't get married. I mean, that's the bottom line to that.
The personal counseling to make sure that I could forgive him and we get married and keep our family together. So we got engaged. I found out, and he was still working in Alaska at that time. When I got engaged...
So you think he had a lot of girlfriends in Alaska?
Oh, he did.
Hell yeah. He was popping all them little Eskimo women up there, man. You could tell.
Yes, sir. I have proof and messages.
I guess we were together the whole time in Alaska. How am I cheating with you? Cheating on you if we're not together?
How you know they weren't just there to warm him up?
They were bed warmers.
That didn't mean he was cheating. He was just staying warm in Alaska.
He was all up in the igloo, butt-ass naked.
there were several bed warmers. They were warming him up. Yes, sir, they were. And so after we were engaged for a year.
Who were these women in Alaska? I'm curious.
You want to see?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Eskimo women, Yana. You know they walk around with those big ass fur coats on with the hood. Hey, you never know what's up under them big ass fur coats. They might have a big ass up under them big ass fur coats.
He said he can find women anywhere. North Pole.
Right.
At the equator.
Right. You know, he's attractive. He's very charming.
In other words, she still wants him. She just said to herself, you know what? I cannot control him to the degree that I want to control him. But she still wants this dude.
Yeah, but they gotta be around.
We can pull women.
Also a member of... Okay, there's live pictures of her.
I'm trying to see who these people are.
It's very obvious that the defendant had some type of private investigator following this dude around.
All right, go ahead. What else you want me to know in terms of the relationship? He returned from Alaska. Was it
right,
still?
we got married, and like he said, it was good in the beginning. I thought it was good in the beginning, but 3 months after we were married, we got married in March. In June, I got these messages, pictures that he was talking to other women.
You got messages and pictures from who? Some of the other women, or from the private investigator that you have following his ass around? And if you needed to have a private investigator following his ass around, how good could the marriage have been over the course of those 3 months? Knock it off.
Very explicit. He exchanging photos of himself. She exchanging videos and photos of herself.
And I'm surprised that Mathis is not asking her some of these questions like, where are you getting this information from? It's very obvious that you had someone tailing this dude. And if you felt so insecure about your union that you needed to have someone tailing him, how could you say that the marriage was good the first 3 months? It's very obvious that this woman is a habitual liar.
But however, his job was getting ready to phase out in Alaska, and he was relocating to Texas. So I'm thinking, okay, that's done. You know, he's moving to Texas. Whatever was in Alaska is in Alaska. And so...
all them big booty Eskimo broads.
That was in June. In October, I found out one of our mutual friends, he was sleeping with her cousin. And we went through the pastor, our church pastor.
The church is is basically another institution that the liberal black woman tries to use to control the so-called black man. Because most so-called black men who go to church don't know the Bible at all. So they use the church as a mechanism to keep their quote-unquote husbands under control. And many times, once again, these church women are sleeping with the pastor themselves, especially once they realize that the pastor has the answers to the questions that they have, and they have no respect for their husband's level of wisdom. The modern day husband's job basically is to provide some penis whenever the woman feels like having sex with him, but basically just to pay most of the bills, the mortgage, the rent, the car note, etc., pay for the clothes of the children, while the woman spends most of her time becoming more and more depressed that she feels quote-unquote trapped in a monotonous relationship. That's why these things start to go sideways so quick.
He wouldn't do it again. The pastor gave him tools to help him be faithful, which was
Gave him tools?
Like to help him keep his focus on his marriage and family.
All right.
So he told him to change his number, to change his social media account to a mutual account with both of us, and not...
Well, look, here's the real problem. The real problem is that the plaintiff is not a quote-unquote one-woman person. That's the real problem. The real issue is that he needs to have more than one wife or concubines. And if she cannot accept that, they're not going to be together.
Himself, and to start, be more spiritual or whatever. However...
Be more spiritual. Meaning be more up under your thumb. That's really what you mean by more spiritual, because your ass is not spiritual. None of you liberal women are spiritual at all. And 95+% of women in America, period, no matter what race they are Babylonian, meaning what? They're Luciferian. They're interested in the worship of themselves as microcosms, as fleshly personifications of the mother goddess. They just go to church to try to feel better about how big a narcissist they are.
When I found out that James wasn't going to do any of those things, I told James that if he was cheating again, I'm out. And
well, you might as well be out, because that man gonna cheat, quote unquote cheat. He gonna get some ass, whether it's up in Alaska with the Eskimo broads or wherever else he's going.
that was in October, November 2016. And then I found out that he had hid a gift that this young lady had given him in our garage.
Okay.
I confronted him. He turned it on me, said I wouldn't let the past go. He's not going to be sorry forever. And so he did come and talk to me, and he says that he wasn't happy, that I wasn't a good wife to him, and that he was tired
What
of
did
being
he say you were
upset,
doing wrong?
that I wasn't initiating sex with him. Not that I didn't give it to him, because he got it. I never told him no.
I'm sure that there's a lot more to it than you just not initiating sex. I'm pretty sure that you probably were trying to use sex to control him, and then subsequently tell him that he does not have the right to pursue sexual relationships with other women, which is something that many of these quote-unquote wives will try to do. I mean, let's be for real. A lot of men out there might not like this, but the average modern-day Western husband, when I say Western, I mean in Europe or America or other westernized countries, with the liberal woman being placed on a pedestal, most of these quote-unquote husbands in these societies are simps. They have to be, because if you're not, the woman is going to take that as an assault on her ego. She's going to try to play a whole bunch of games with her man if she can, on average. Are there women out there who understand what their role is? Sure, they're just few and far between. But there's a lot more to it than her just not initiating sex with that man. It's very clear that he was tired of a lot of her, whatever her nonsensical antics or whatever term you want to use. But there's a lot more to it than what she's divulging right now. There's no doubt about that in my mind.
That I wasn't all over him.
Twice in 7 months?
So.
Damn, twice in 7 months. No wonder you was fucking them Eskimo broads.
Okay.
Oh my God. So.
Let me hear from you now.
Yeah, please, let's hear from James, because this brought on some bullshit.
Get to the money you're suing her for and the property.
Okay, so until I started dating someone, or she found out I'm dating someone, that's when the phone calls to all my family started, and my friends. And what was her point of calling them? I have no idea.
Well, I could tell you what the point was, brother. The point was she was going to try to use them to shame you into conforming to her. Once again, it's a big power struggle going on in many of these households between quote-unquote husbands and quote-unquote wives, because men are no longer allowed to be the head of the household unless a woman, quote-unquote, allows him to be. You ever hear women say that? I'll allow him to lead, or I allow my man to be the head. What they're really saying is that they'll allow their man to play make-believe, but if they wanted to pull the switch, proverbially speaking, and take over control of the situation, they could do so through the court system and through the police force. They know that. So that's the real crux of the matter, in my view, with men, with the so-called black man particularly, because that's who I'm concerned with. That's who I speak to on this channel. Brothers have to understand what they're getting into, not just when they decide to marry these women, but even when they simply decide to develop a serious relationship with the woman, because she has a plot going on in her mind. And is she mature enough to let her plot be sent by the wayside or subside, and just be the person that she's supposed to be with the man, if he deserves to be treated that way? Because a lot of men out here don't know up from down, don't know what time it is. So, we have to get our wisdom game up so that we can lead the family appropriately. But just getting back to the point, the woman is going to approach you with a lot of chicanery. There's no doubt about that. And some of them are more patient than others. Some can hide who they really are for 3 months. Some can hide who they really are for 3 years. So, once again, if a woman is not willing to be with you for life without a contract, you should not be willing to be with her for life with a contract, because it's not going to last either way. Contracts are not going to make your relationship any stronger than they should be already, because the bond has to be spiritual. It's not going to be contractual.
And so, tell me about the money you're suing her for.
I'm suing her for a total of...
Look at Judge Mathis' face. Judge Mathis be looking like he constipated sometime. He gets so irate with these stupid ass cases.
$1,000. She stole $3,062.01 from a bank account that we had together. But she took herself off, shredded her card, was not using that account. I was the only person using that account. And around 3 o'clock in the morning, I can't remember what day it was, I got a notification saying, hey, your account has been closed and all the money has been taken out of it.
Okay, so then what's the issue there? You guys were married. That means that you have a shared account, a joint account. You know, all of your substances are equally shared 50-50, so you can't get upset. You're the one who decided to get married, bro.
Property.
I have a TV stand that's closed that she hasn't allowed me to go back in there and get stuff in the kitchen.
What has she said?
What kind of nonsense is this? I got a TV stand. What? Nigga, buy a new TV stand. You moving on, right? You want a TV stand that you've been using for 10 years to bring that to your new place? Just go on Amazon and get a new one. Yeah, Jan, I got a toothbrush in the bathroom and an Afro pick. I don't know where it's at, but it's my favorite Afro pick. It got a fist on the end of it. I can't even find one of those anywhere else. Can I get it? Like, come on, man, knock it off. Just move on.
The money.
What she said about the money?
Yes.
She gave me, my father, and my best friend an ultimatum that I need to sign divorce papers that she never served me with, and get the rest of my stuff out the house, and she would give me back my money. Okay. Well, you can't let me get stuff out of my house if you don't allow me to go in the house and make sure all my stuff is out. State.
This guy, he's just trying to be petty. He's upset because the woman took that money out their account. That's really what all this shit is about. This nonsense about going in her place and getting the rest of his stuff. None of that stuff is yours. Brothers, when their relationship is over, if you don't take the shit with you the first time you leave the place, you might as well consider that shit gone. Because if it's truly that valuable, you would took it with you the first time you left anyway.
All right, let me hear from you.
Okay, so the joint account, I applied for a new apartment, and they charged me an at-risk deposit. And I was like, why are you charging me an at-risk deposit?
Because you're at risk. Probably got bad credit.
Because you have a sanction on your bank account. I was like, no, I don't. But then I remember the sanction was on our mutual account because he owed back child support. So New York sanctioned that account.
And your ass probably got bad credit.
So they lifted the sanction. I did close the account so that I could get the apartment that I was applying for and didn't have to pay the at-risk deposit. I did give him $1,300 of it. I did give him an ultimatum to sign the divorce papers, come and get the rest of his stuff out of my garage, and return my handgun that he took.
I did.
Well, shit, I hope that you took that damn handgun. Because there's a good chance she might have used it on your ass. So that was a smart move when you took her damn handgun.
And then I will give him the $1,700 back.
How much personal property?
I don't have anything left.
Okay. Oh, yes, he was suing
right.
you for
How do I know that if I can't get a house and look?
Well, you're talking mighty slick. Y'all still married, aren't you?
That's what I'm saying. This dude talking all this shit. The broad didn't want to have sex with you. You left. Like, how many items of value would you have left in a household that has a woman in it that you're no longer interested in if it truly was an item of value or they were truly items of value? One would think that you would have taken them with you when you first left. This nigga talking about a TV stand. Like, come on, man, knock it off.
Yes, sir.
All right, if you was that slick, you'd have signed that divorce paper when she asked you to, because it's still joint assets. It's marital property. Your claim is dismissed. She owes you zero. It's
good. And I hope that you brothers hear that. When you decide that you're going to sign a marriage contract with a female, everything that you both have is shared property. So if you don't want to have these issues with trying to get your items back, don't get married. It's up to you, whatever you do. But understand the repercussions of your actions.
Your property till you get a divorce. What is your counterclaim for? Rent from him, dismissed as well. Y'all married. Okay. It's joint property. Have a good day.
The judge is exasperated with this bullshit. The judge like, I see why she only fucked your ass twice every 7 months. You're getting on my goddamn nerves.
I wish him well.
No, you don't. You still want that man. You don't wish him well. You wish that he'd come back to you.
Pray him and his new young lady have a happy baby and relationship, and I hope he heals so he doesn't leave another baby without 2-parent home.
Here she go with that fake take the high road tact, knowing damn well that she don't wish him well. She looks like she about to break down and cry right there. What you really wish is that the man would call you back and apologize and move back in with you. But hopefully he's too smart to do that, because these women, they want their old man back, but they want them back on their terms. So the shit is never going to work. In a real society that truly has intentions on making marriages be lifelong in duration, they already understand that the woman has to be moderated. You cannot empower or overly empower the woman and then say, okay, marriages are still going to work. They're not. Because the essential nature of the woman is to be tempestuous. She's tempestuous within herself. She doesn't know how she feels or what she's thinking from moment to moment. So she cannot be the barometer for stability at all, ever.
That's not her fault. I'm gonna say, she know what she did. She know what she told. She know what she stole. She know what she took. She know if it was hers or not.
She know what she did. She know what she stole. She stole our family heirloom, the TV stand. We have a TV stand that goes back 87 years, back when the original TV first came out. Now I have a flat screen laying flat on the ground. I can't believe it. I have to stand over my TV to watch television. I watched the game last night. I hurt my neck. I can't believe this. But once again, brothers, please understand something. Know what you're getting into before you decide to get married. So peace.